Hey, and welcome to this workshop all about angles. So in this workshop, I'm going to cover, it's a pretty short but specific workshop on angles and why they're so important, how to consider light when, creating, images using these angles. It's pretty much just a one process of understanding light. And I'll detail for you how every setup I take the angles and what to do, and I'll show you some example images using my baby, and also, why you don't really need, more than 2 setups for every session. And if you focus on an angle workflow and you do it throughout your sessions, not only your sessions are going to be shorter, but you're going to have a variety to showcase to your clients and hopefully sell more. So firstly, I want to explain why angles are so important. So first of all, to fill up a gallery, you don't want to, a lot of photographers think that they have to do 3 or 4, even 5 or 6 setups to actually fill up a gallery for their client, because thinking that they're going that way, they're giving them a variety. It really doesn't have to be like that. I mean, I used to think like that, so I'm guilty of it as well. But it's not a bad thing as well. So there's no wrong thing about it. But the thing is, you're going to take longer in your sessions. Too much variety is actually going to sell less. Your clients are going to choose less as well, so you don't want that. So it's really a good idea to stick to about 2 to 3 setups. I stick to 2, and the third is any parents or siblings in a newborn session. And I like to focus on the angles. So once I have 2 setups, I think that's pretty much enough. I can fill up a gallery of 40 to 50 images for my client to choose from. So this is what you'll see in this workshop. Just the basic angles that I take for every setup of every, every setup that I do, and whether it's on the beanbag or whether it's in a prop, on a drop, or whatever you do, you can fill up from every setup about 10 to 15 images if you're creative. So I'm going to show you how I shoot those, and I'm going to show you the actual images, and they're going to pop up on the screen. So that's why it's so important to focus on angles rather than focus on more setups in every session. So this is why it's so important that you have like an angle workflow. So I've created a checklist for you, and I'll detail exactly the angles that I use, so that way you can have it on hand maybe during a session. All right, so the first part I'm going to explain to you is the lighting and how it should come across your baby's face and body. Now this applies to whether it's in a prop, on a beanbag, any way that you pose a baby, it all applies. Now, I did explain to you before, if we have my light source is coming this way, you can see on her top of her head there, which means I wouldn't place the baby's head on this side. So I wouldn't put her this way. You could, but you'll probably get all the light coming onto her body there. So I like to pose baby on this side, closest to the light. So remember that. And when I put her closest to the light, you can see half side of her face that's closest to the light obviously is lit, and the other half is creating a nice shadow. So you just pose the baby there. Now I'm just going to quickly, just for the sake of this, just pretend we're posing her properly. Pop a wedge under there. Okay. So let's say I'm posing her like this. Oh, okay. You can see that if I put her this way and take the shot this way, her head here is quite bright. We don't want that. So I want to turn her this way, just so half of the light is coming down her face this way. So you can see how nice that is. Now, sometimes on the screen where you guys are watching, it might look too much or too little, but what I can visually see is quite perfect. So what I would do is always focus on the head closest to the light, so the light source is coming. Now, if she was in a bundle wrap, and you can see her hands and her feet and her tummy, it would look nice as well, because the light would be shining down her body that way as well. So that's why I like to pose the baby head closest to the light rather than the other way. So if I pose her head this way, I'm not going to get that effect and that look. And if I move her this way, I'm going to get on her hair the light. So I need to turn her where I always make it like a rule of thumb, where it's just over her nose, so it's nice and lit there. And then when you take the shot, have a look at these things when you take the shot. Like, keep an eye out for them. Your eyes get used to seeing where the light source and how the light is hitting the child's face. So that's exactly what I do. Now, obviously, that's one rule, to keep the child's head closest to the light. Sometimes the light in here gets really harsh and I get a lot of shadows, all I have to do is push everything I have set up close towards the inside of my studio where the light isn't as bright. You can always filter the light, and these like what I've just explained applies to any artificial light as well, and how you light up your subject. So what I would do in this case, I would take a shot from the top. So that's one angle. So I would go ahead, lift my, I'm going to use live mode if I can. Let me just I'll quickly use live mode just so I can see what I'm doing. I probably need to get up. So I would go ahead and I'm going to lift my ISO. So you could probably see that there. You can see that. So I'm going to lift my ISO just to about, my ISO is at 640. And just one stop over exposed. I hardly shoot with live mode, but I'm going to show you what it looks like. So that it's going to look a bit off on screen, but I will put up these images. So that's one. And then what I like to do, you can see how nice the light is. I would fix it so it's a little bit this way a bit more. So I'm going to go ahead and take another one, and I'll take it on it. And why I like to do this is I like to take them on an angle. So I'm going to go ahead and shoot that. I might put it down just a bit. Okay, so that's that one. All right, so then what I like to do is I like to come and stand where this stool is and take it like on a side angle. So I get right back up, I'm quite low. And then what I like to do is take it from here. Shot from the top. Then I'll go 45 degree. Now I'm starting to learn how to shoot in live mode because my eyes are getting really sore from squinting through my viewfinder. So this is good practice. And then what I like to do, another angle. So this is what I'm gonna like cover in this workshop obviously is the angles, as you guys know, but these angles is what sort of creates your overall gallery and what you're going to deliver to your client. So you get a different look and feel out of one setup. So you'll get a worksheet with all the angle steps that I take, but I do the top, side, and then I go really in. So I'll go really in just to get the prop in. I might turn her that way. So she's quite straight in the prop, which is quite nice. So just to get the prop on the edges. Then I'll go closer where I'm just getting her hands and her face. It's just trying to focus. Yeah, and then I'll go really close just to get her face. Okay, and then what I can do here is I like to do a 45 degree angle, but I like to stand really high and lift even my hands and shoot like this. Just in the corner of the prop here, and I like to bring myself down, but sort of lift myself like this, and then get a nice high look. And you'll see the image that I'm going to take on your screen. And this is why I like to use this lens. It's a zoom lens. So I can go as far or close as I want. I really think that's nice, and with the light currently. And then I like to go lower, just cut off the prop a little bit. And then what I like to do is come around. So just where the baby's ear line is, I am standing. I will move her just a bit, just so I can shoot down that way. So I'm going to go and shoot that. And you just get another perspective of this baby. And then what you can go do, obviously the next shot, I would take obviously the hands, the feet, the really extreme close up of the baby's face. And hands and feet. And if they have long eyelashes, I'll come in close, take them off the eyelashes. And then obviously a backlit shot. So you have to be in front of the light to take the backlit shot. And I'm just gonna take it like that. And what I like to do sometimes is lift the baby a little bit. So I might put a wedge here if the baby's too deep in the prop, just so I can see the baby. And I'm just gonna move her just a bit and just move her head straight so I can see a side profile there. And all I'm gonna do is just halfway, and then I'm gonna bend right down. Okay, and then I can get right back up. I actually like the middle height and then way down, but you can experiment with it. And then what you can do is on an angle, take a side profile. There you go, I've got at least 8 to 10 shots over there. You could also, if you like vertical, because she's nice and straight, I could take a vertical one. And then in that you'll see the light as well. So that's pretty much the sort of angles that I like to take in regards to the baby. I really think that the 45-degree, just where you're standing just aligned with her ear, would look really nice if they were in a bundle wrap. That's because you can see their tummy, the hands, the feet, and they're all nice and curled in as well. So that's what I would do in regards to the angle, and that's a little bit about the light as well. Okay, so here are the angles that I pretty much cover throughout all my galleries. Wide, medium wide, where the frame of my camera is just touching the edges of the props. If it's a round prop or maybe a crate, like a rectangle, then I come extremely close where I'm just getting the hands and the head. And then I will go extremely close to get just the features of the face. So from half the forehead down to about the chin. And then I'll do a 45-degree angle this way, so at a medium height and then really high. And then I'll come around towards the baby's ear. I'll move their head so I can slightly see half of this eye as well. And I will shoot where I'm just aligned with their ear on another 45-degree angle, but from the top half of the baby. And then I will shoot a backlit shot, and I might shoot more wide shots. So these are more the creative shots that you'll see come up. So where the baby's head, so I'll lower the baby's prop there, and I will shoot the baby from here. So I get some of the backdrop, the baby's head only at the bottom of the frame. Do is if I'm going to add some flowers, I'll just put the baby in the corner there, add the flowers there. Okay, so now that I've shown you all the angles that I take, I wanted to open them up here in Bridge just to quickly, go over them again before we end this workshop. So I've picked out the ones that I want to show you. I think they're the only ones I've actually taken. So I'm going to quickly open them in Bridge and show you how, explain each one. And that way, I think because you can't see them as I was shooting, I wanted to show you them here. So let's go back to the first one, not the backlit one. So as you guys know, you'll get a worksheet and it'll detail every single one, and I'll add these images alongside every single angle. So this one would be the wide, I think this was the widest. Now the only reason I didn't take it much wider is because of the drop. But in saying that, you can still edit the drop using a patch tool in Photoshop. So this would be classified for this gallery, the wide shot. And then from the wide shot, I explained how I go closer where you can still see the hands if the hands are out. Usually if the hands aren't out, I'll still take it that way. So if the hands are wrapped in the wrap, that's still okay. Actually, this was the bit wider. So you can see the, going back to the wider shot, this was the first one and this one. That's a little bit more wider, and you can see my flooring there, but that's still okay. I mean, you can still, let me just take that. So So you can still, you know, patch that in Photoshop and you'll be done. So from the wide, I'll go back to the medium close-up, and then from the medium close-up, we will do another medium close-up. I've just tilted my camera on a 45-degree angle there, and then extreme close-up, I will get the eyelashes, the hands, the nose, the mouth, and then, yeah, so that's the one there. Now, I was talking about having the shot where being creative, having the baby's head at the bottom of the frame. This is the one that I was talking about. So it looks really cute there, because the shape of that prop is really nice and the baby's head is at the bottom of the frame. Then I went ahead and put some flowers just to get a little bit creative. I know the drop is still small, and this is why you don't need massive drops. You can patch that in Photoshop. If you don't know what the patch tool is, it's just called the patch tool. You trace around that area, hit delete on your keyboard, and then hit content aware. It says, you know, it's content aware, and then you put OK, and you're done. So that's just to spice it up a bit. This is the other shot, not on an angle. And I've just put the flowers in the prop there. So that's the close-up ones. I also took a vertical one as well, and I'll just show you that. You can do that as well. It looks nice with that prop. I'm not a huge fan of a vertical shot, but I've been lately taking one or two just to give my clients a variety. So that was the wide, medium wide, close-up on a 45-degree as well, close-up, a vertical shot, baby at the bottom of the frame. And now we'll go to the 45-degree angle, which is my sort of signature go-to, frame that I like to take, angle, I should say. So I like to take one, again, back from above, but what I'm pretty much talking about is this one. So the baby's still in the same position. I haven't moved the baby. All you might need to do in this position, just move the baby's head towards your lens, and then stand up as you saw in the video and take it on a 45-degree angle. So that's one. That's the wider shot where I went and pulled myself a bit further out, and this is really further out. So you can see the difference between these, and let me put them together. So the one to the left is the really wide one. The one in the middle is medium close, and this one is close as well. I would say similar, but you can come even closer. And then you have this one as well, where it's just more close, and I've cut up a bit of the prop, and I did explain that in the just earlier. So they're the ones that on a 45-degree angle. Then we want to go to the backlit one. So this is the backlit shot. Now in here, if you have a small prop, again, I keep the background here where my basket is all white, and then I'll just patch it here nicely. I might get a nice brush and patch it. So that was from a medium height. This was a much lower, so I came down a bit lower. And then this was the side profile as well. And then if I wanted to get really extreme close side profile, I got this one as well. So this is really, and you can see the nice light hitting the further side of her face. It really gives the shape of the baby's eyes, nose, mouth, because babies do change, so I like to capture that as well. So that's pretty much all the angles that I take. So I have about, how many images? I have 19 images here. So if I can get 10 to 20 images every setup, I have at least 40 to 50 images in a gallery to show my clients. And the baby looks different each single one. Another way you can change it up if you're still stuck is add flowers, add a prop, wrap the baby in a different color. Like I always say, do a base wrap, and then you can wrap the baby in a different color. The whole setup will look different. You can just be creative. It's all about being creative with your angles. And if you come up with any angles, or if you do any of these after watching this workshop, go into our Facebook group and share your image and tag me and let me know which angle you tried. I'd love to see it. So hopefully you enjoyed this angles workshop, all about angles. Like I said, if you do any of these, please come and share them with me in the Facebook group. I would love to cheer you on. Thank you so much for being here, and I'll see you in another video.